Good morning. This is Mary Kelly. And this new year has started off in a way that none of us could have predicted. Just 1 month ago, the very first case of coronavirus was diagnosed in New York. And we've all had to make changes in the past 30 days that have disrupted our lives. So our challenge today as leaders, as organizations, and just as individuals is, how do we stay focused? How do we stay productive? Many of us are working from home. We've got distractions. We've got other things going on. Many of us are still trying to, manage the household, manage what we've got to get done, get work done, stay productive. And frankly, it's really, really challenging. So one of the things I want to ask you, and if you want to type in the chat box, that's great. We've got about 25, 30 people on the call, and this is terrific. Go ahead and type in the chat box. What is your top goal for the rest of the year? And for some people, it's real simple. It's just stay healthy. It's be with my family. It is keep my job. Whatever it is, just type it in the chat box if you feel like sharing. What is your top goal for the rest of the year? Because right now, for many of us, it's just so hard to eliminate the distractions. Like I shared with some of you, I have my office managers, 1 and 2, they're in the office. They are furry, and they are helping me. Oh, good, thanks. Keeping the company open. Yep. I'm working with several organizations that are struggling with, frankly, keeping the doors open, paying people. Staying healthy and help the family and the team stay healthy. Many people are also discouraged, and we can't dismiss those feelings of being discouraged. So, oh, good, you're going to launch leadership coaching. Yep. That's fantastic. This is a great time for some leadership coaching. That's wonderful. So if you don't mind just throwing that in the chat box, what your top goal is for the rest of 2020. But start by eliminating distractions. And for many people, distractions come in different ways. We have to train our brain to stop distractions as well, and to be as focused as possible throughout distractions so that we can maintain focus and get things done. Now, our brain is hardwired to love distractions. Being situationally aware is what keeps us alive, but we have to train our brain, especially now. So how do we start by eliminating distractions? Well, first off, know what your distraction triggers are. Sound is very distracting to many people. For example, if I hear music, I'm immediately distracted, but I can have the news on all day long and barely pay attention to it. Or I can have a TV show that I've seen before in the background. It doesn't bother me at all, but sound is distracting to many, many people. Oh, good. And from Lindsay, thank you so much. Get the sales numbers for this year. Stay healthy. Spend more time with nephews. Oh, that's awesome. Wonderful. And then for many people, you need to turn off, if you know that you are sensitive to sound, turn off the sound notifications. Folks, I have my phone with me 24/7. I do. I'm one of those people who takes it to bed, but I never have the sound on. And I tell my folks, look, send me anything you want, anytime you want, 24/7. Just text me, send it to me, email me, but I don't have the sound on. I don't even have the ringer on, because for me, sound is a distraction. So know what that trigger is if that's a trigger for you. So real quickly, you can make a note. What can you resolve to turn off or just schedule that is a distraction for you that might deal with sound? Turn off maybe a ringer. I still know of people who get sound notifications when they get text messages. That would make me insane. So know what your distraction is. Light is distracting to many people. Lights or other visual movements around people can be very distracting. And those people can increase their focus by minimizing certain light activities. Now in the Navy, we do keep, oops, sorry about that. In the Navy, we have some areas of the ship that are deliberately kept dark because we're watching radar screens and because we're looking at other things, and they're kept very, very dark. Well, for people who like the light, that's a very depressing place. But for people who are stimulated by light and it's too distracting, they love working there. So know what your physical environment is to you and help yourself to make sure that you are working in places that best work for you. Now, while we're all predominantly social distancing, some areas are still open that may not have a whole lot of people. So a library, a conference room perhaps that's empty, you can still rent space in office buildings that are empty. Quiet spaces, when we get back to not social distancing, sometimes a coffee shop is very helpful, or off hours at a restaurant. And if you can sit there for a couple hours and drink coffee or water, just get through that. That's great. And again, Tracy, thanks so much. Helping clients remain successful. That's a terrific goal. So your best places to work, where do you work best? Just make a note of where you work best. Now, some people work just fine at the kitchen table with all their kids around them, and that is not a distraction for them at all. That everybody's sitting there working together is kind of a nice family bonding time. But if that's not getting work done for you, you've got to know where that is. So a couple of the things that you might want to think about eliminating are the distractions that, well, get you down. Maybe your office is too cluttered. Maybe there's noise. I think I shared before we started today that the last couple of days we haven't had water where I live. So that was a little bit of a distraction. And then right now, also while we're going through everything that's going on, I've had to do grocery deliveries for my parents. Well, my parents live in Texas. And if I'm not there, grocery deliveries become a little bit more challenging. So managing multiple phone calls with them. What do you need? What do your friends need? All of those things. Those aren't things I can eliminate. I just have to handle them. But what distractions do I have that I might be able to eliminate? And in that case, I'm like, okay, I can clean up my office desk. I can get some of those things to do off my list. So stop checking your email a million times a day. You could batch your email. You can also sort your email. And that's going to be one of the other programs we're going to do, is how to triage your email so that it doesn't make you crazy. So staying focused is a goal for many of us. And what does that look like? Well, first off, make sure, even in these times, wake up every single day with the most important task or job that you need to get done in your brain. What is the most important priority for you today? And if you accomplish nothing else but that today, would it be a successful day? And then what's the second most important thing you can do today? And maybe that's not quite as critical, but it's important for you to know, waking up today, what do I really need to get done? Because many of us are full of busy work. Busy work are things that are on our to-do list. And many of you know, and I'm sharing with you how I do my productivity sheets. I do them each and every day. And I sometimes have to prioritize what it is I need to do as well. So if you can put down your third thing for what you need to get done that would make you feel successful, that would be helpful. And folks, I got to tell you right now, some of us need some quick wins. Help your team with some of those quick wins. I have been known, again, on my productivity sheet to write down, take vitamins while I was chewing the gummies at that time, because I just needed something to cross off. Improving your ability to focus is critical right now. Practicing focus is critical. When I teach school, I will, with young people, I sometimes will give them an article to read, and maybe it's a page or 3 pages or 4 pages. And I'm always amazed when I pass out an article and they reach for their phone. I'm like, wait, the article isn't on your phone. The article is in front of you. And they're so used to being distracted that they can't help themselves. Their habit is to reach for yet another distraction. So we have to practice focus. And here's a couple ways to do that. If you've gotten out of the practice of focus, put on a stopwatch or grab a computer or set your watch or grab your Apple Watch, set your phone for 1 minute. And then as soon as you say go, focus 100% on getting that job done, 100% focus. If something else flies into your head, restart the clock, start again, start with 60 seconds. Once you've mastered that, go to 2 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 5 minutes. And you'll be amazed at how much more work you can get done when you work with full focus and attention. When I'm talking full focus and attention, a good exercise to practice on that is grab a book that has anything to do with what it is you do, your industry, whether you're in sales or marketing or business or development or leadership. Grab a book and then read for 1 solid minute and train your brain to focus on that. Full focus and attention, and then do 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, then 5 minutes. Again, you're training your brain to focus, because right now we are a nation of people who have trained our brains not to focus. And this variety of distractions, while entertaining, is also precluding us from getting the things done we need to get done. So as many of you know, I use this 5-minute productivity sheet each and every day of my life. Yes, you should have gotten that in the email that was sent out. If you haven't, again, I use Kiwi Live for everything. It's in the chat box. KiwiLive.com, keyword dog, has these handouts as well as other free handouts. And they're oftentimes on my website as well under free, but I use this each and every day. So right now, today on date, I actually put the day of the week. So it says Wednesday. It's the 1st of April. Probably not going to be the most fun April Fool's Day we've ever had, but that's okay. And then I do fill out the calls to make, the follow-up, the appointments I have, my to-dos. If I've got specific meetings like with you all, and then today's accomplishments. Now, I will share with you that I'm bad at today's accomplishments because at the end of the day, I don't look back and say, wow, what did I accomplish? What I mostly do is plan for the next day. And this isn't always the best case. So again, what you can do, and if you want to right now, you can go to kiwilive.com or print out that sheet. The sheets that I sent to you in the email are fillable, downloadable, fillable PDFs. So you can save them to your computer, you can fill them out on your computer, you can print them so you can carry them around with you, you can cross them off with a pencil, that's what I do, or you can just print them off and fill them in, whatever works for you. But I also make it easy for myself. Let's say I'm really busy and I've got several calls to make. I will put that phone number down just in case I don't have it in my phone. So there's no excuse for me not getting something done. And that's critically important to me. And so sometimes I'll put down what it's regarding. And Tracy, you're on the phone right now, and I love that, and I appreciate that. I have like 6 friends named Tracy. And so I want to make sure I get the right Tracy. There's nothing worse than being on a call and having, well, you know, the wrong person. So any appointments or meetings, I schedule that in. Anytime I've got something that I need to highlight, oh, I want to make sure I acknowledge Bob, who's going to be at the meeting, I put that on there. And then follow up. We all know that we could do a better job on follow up. And then I actually get to the to-dos. The to-dos are my top 3 priorities of the day. Now, sometimes there's more than 3 top priorities, but I put actually an asterisk or a star by the one that's the most important for me. Whatever you do, the reason I like writing it down is it gets it out of your head. Part of our challenge today with the overwhelm we're all facing and the craziness that's going on in the world, we have to get out of our own head. We have to help ourselves get out of our own head. And then if you remember, putting down today's accomplishments. So even today, you could put down, I did a webinar with Mary. That's an accomplishment and you made time for it, and that's fantastic. Some people like this idea of scheduling each part of the day. And this is, again, something that was sent to you, the date. So today's Wednesday, the 1st of April, and then today's focus. What are we going to focus on today? So for people who like that idea of mindfulness and focus, you can write that down. And then certain reminders you have to do, some errands. And this may be an easier way for some people to structure their day, right? And then we know that focus becomes easier with practice. Well, what quick 1-minute jobs can you get out of the way right now so you can focus on what's really important? So a quick 1-minute job is print out the sheet and just get everything out of your head that you know you need to do. Or sometimes, again, we need the quick wins. I'm going to feed the dog, whatever works. This is my 5-minute productivity plan. Some of you have seen this before in various iterations. Real quickly, how do you take control of the outstanding projects that, again, in a sense of overwhelm, those outstanding projects suddenly got bigger. They suddenly got more difficult. Do you need help to get those done? Yes, no. Do I want help to get those done? Well, if I had help, would they get done better, faster, in some better way? And if the answer is yes, who do you ask for help? So a couple weeks ago, I was doing one of these programs and I realized that I didn't really know how to trim a Zoom call very well. So I called a friend of mine and I said, hey, I need help. And rather than her saying, okay, just send it to me and I'll do it, she made me walk through it. It was painful, mostly for her, but I learned how to do it. So sometimes we do need help to get things done. Otherwise, we put them off and say, when we're going to get to them when? Later. Later is a terrible, terrible place to be. SDS, stop doing stupid. One of the best things about a crisis, and I know that some of you are not feeling as though there's anything good about a crisis, but one of the best things about a crisis is we prioritize what's most important. And there are things that, frankly, we don't need to be doing. Those things all of a sudden went to the bottom of the priority list. SDS means stop doing stupid. What are we doing on a daily basis that we maybe really don't need to focus on? And then the time vampires. What are some things that are sucking up our time that we really don't need to be doing, or we can put a stop to it? One of the big benefits of working from home is all of a sudden that really annoying office person is no longer coming by your office to distract you or just to ramble on and on and on about things you don't care about and things that nobody else cares about either. So yay, maybe. Nice ways to stop interruptions. If you've gotten phone calls or somebody wants you on 1 million webinars a day, you can just schedule it and say, you know what, I've got 3 minutes. How can I help you right now? Do what you do best. Don't do things necessarily that you're bad at doing or that you could maybe get help on to make it go faster. or that somebody else could do for you. I'm a big fan of delegating things that I don't need to do. In times like this, maybe it's time I do learn some things. You've got to decide what works best for you. And then quick 5-minute jobs. So the 5-minute jobs are things you can throw on your to-do list and cross them off within 5 minutes. Give yourself a sense of accomplishment. That serotonin or dopamine rush that we get when we cross things off a list is real. So give yourself some wins. Also, if you have teams, give your teams some wins. Share the productivity sheet with your team and then ask them to fill in 2 easy 5-minute jobs at the end of the day just so they can cross them off. Just so you can go, good job, you. People need wins and they need more of them, especially right now. And right now, we need to use the word we more than I. We need to make sure that we are helping other people through this. So on a scale of 1 to 10, one way to practice this is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank today? Was it a 1? It was just absolutely terrible, or was it a 10? So today, think about it at the end of yesterday. How was yesterday? Well, yesterday for me, not having water, not having power, not having electricity when you're trying to work from home, that can be a little bit challenging. Emails not going out like they're supposed to, that can be challenging. So maybe an 8. But 3 things that went well for me, and I'm just going to go to yesterday. Well, I had bottled water. I wasn't so concerned about not having water that I wasn't able to wash my hands, that I knew the water would eventually come back, that people were working on my water situation. Well, enough emails did happen to where y'all are all here. So there are a lot of things that went well, and sometimes we forget that. The people I appreciated today, for example, and this is, again, going back to yesterday, I really appreciate the people who were there at 2 o'clock in the morning fixing the water main break that happened on my street. I was really grateful for the people from the electric company who showed up and made sure that the gas leak was fixed before the water people could get to work. I was really grateful for my clients who called me and said, yes, we can work from a phone instead of a face-to-face video conference to save the power. So I appreciated those people. Now, what did I worry about yesterday? I worried about, well, if I suddenly had a water shortage, what if my parents had a water shortage? Or what if my parents had a water main break? I worried about that yesterday. Did it happen? No. A lot of times we worry about things that don't materialize. Folks, there's enough to worry about in the world right now. We don't need to make up things that maybe haven't happened. So at the end of every day, one of the best exercises I know of, again, this is to de-stress your folks and help your people stay successful, is ask them, what 3 things did you worry about today that didn't happen, that you didn't need to worry about? And it gets it out of their head. Now, the other thing I use all the time, and some of you know this, is my weekly productivity plan. And again, here's the magic of this. So let's say I've got some kind of action or a plan that I need to implement today, and frankly, I just haven't done it. Why not? Well, maybe I just didn't want to. Sometimes we just don't want to do something. Sometimes our motivation is maybe a little low, or maybe we got distracted because there's kids in the house and they're trying to do school. We didn't have the computer. Maybe our internet crashed. Maybe we had to go to the grocery store in the middle of the day. We weren't planning on it. All of these things happen. But sometimes it's just because we don't want to. Procrastination is real. The magic here is the column that's called time in minutes. So let's say I have to respond to an email and I know it's going to take 15 minutes and maybe I just don't want to do it. Okay. But once I write down 15 minutes, part of my brain goes, really? That's what's going to make you crazy? 15 minutes out of your life. It's on your list. Really? You're going to procrastinate on that. And then you're going to transfer it from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday. That's going to basically take you almost 15 minutes. What are you doing? So these are the conversations I have inside my own head. And yeah, it can be a crazy place up there. So part of it is when you write down the time in minutes, 15 minutes, 17 minutes, 4 minutes of how long it's actually going to take you, your brain focuses on that as a solution. Your neurological brain goes, oh, we got this. So why are you worried about it? And that gives us the motivation to go forward. We're like, yeah, we can knock that out. And again, having that something that we're able to cross off is helpful. So again, have that action plan, know what you're going to do for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I do Saturday and Sunday as well. Use the time in minutes. Assign everything a time in specific minutes. If it's going to take 3 hours, you write 180 minutes. And if you don't have 180 minutes to work on it right now, you say, you know what, I've got 14 minutes. So then you subtract out the 14 minutes and that just reduced the task. You can also, of course, put in the due date. Folks, we all respond to deadlines. I'm sure some of you, at least some of you, wrote that college paper or high school paper the night before it was due. We all respond to due dates, and I do too. Every time something is due, I put a due date on it, and I make sure the day before I look at everything that's due. And then prioritization. Make sure you are doing what most needs to be done that day. Ooh, that was clever and not very exciting. Oh, good for me. Okay. So let's get through that, and I'll go back to my big screen on the priorities. Okay, so what we want to do, getting to our priorities, is right now in the chat box, can you please write down what struggle you're having with focus? If you would add that into the chat, that would be fantastic. Because right now we're looking for struggles with focus, struggles with prioritization, and maybe some distractions at home. So if you could type that into the chat box, then we can discuss it real quick and solve some problems in under our 25-minute, in under our 25-minute time. Oh, motivation during uncertainty. Oh, can I please talk about that? And thank you, Judith, so much. During uncertainty, it is, again, it's a human behavior reaction. The habenula in our brain does not like uncertainty. This is the part of our brain, and thank you so much for letting me talk about it, deals with change. Change means uncertainty. Any kind of uncertainty, whatever it is, whether it's your job, your family's health, your own health, maybe making rent payments, plays havoc with your brain. Your brain does not like it. So part of that is making sure with what you need to do, that you're mapping out the most important things, the things you're going to focus on, and allowing your brain to focus 100% on specific things, again, in those minutes. You'll find that once your brain goes, oh, you just want me to focus for 1 minute on reading this one chapter of the book, your brain's actually relieved, because then all of those other things that it's being bombarded with, that has to go away. It gives your brain a little vacation. So when you are reading 5 minutes of a business book or 5 minutes of an article about anything besides the virus, anything. I don't care if you're reading a romance novel. 5 minutes of full focus will give your brain that rest, and you'll feel better afterwards. Oh yeah, if you have to get onto the web for work, you get distracted by the news pop-ups. Yes, so Nancy Reagan said it, just say no, close them out, don't think about them. Make sure that, again, part of this is protecting your brain from all the crazy, and you have to be the one to protect your own brain. And it sounds weird, but again, there's so much negativity out there, and we're surrounded by so much of it. We have to just turn it off. Bruce said, your family health. Oh, you betcha. Now is a great time to sit the family down and say, okay, you know what? We haven't been very good about taking our vitamins, or we haven't been very good about eating vegetables. And now is a really good time for us to do that. So let's make a chart. Let's make a plan. Anytime there's uncertainty, I love making plans. And there's a ton of people out there who have plans for this, but grab a blank piece of paper and just say, you know, what are 3 things we could all do that would make us a little bit healthier? So maybe it's drinking more water every day. Maybe it is, we're going to have a salad at lunch as well as a vegetable at dinner. Maybe we're all going to commit to taking all of our vitamins. And we map that out so that we have a plan going forward. So remember, right now, there are so many things to be afraid of. And with the numbers rising and the news just beyond infatuated with this virus crisis, we're getting inundated with negativity, which creates fear, which creates uncertainty. Now, action trumps fear. Action means that we're not going to be fearful. We're not going to react instead of being proactive. So making sure that we have those habits. Okay, so our family health is important. What can we do to maintain our family health? We can drink more water. We can take our vitamins. We can eat more vegetables. We can take a 10-minute walk around the neighborhood. Whatever that means is we can plan that out. Tracy says, the habit of making everything a priority, which means no priority. Oh, you're absolutely right. So this is where, if you're one of those people, then using what I call the plan of the day plan, the one that has the day mapped out, because it limits you to 3. You get to pick 3, the rest of the day you plan out. And for me, if it's scheduled on my calendar, that means it's going to happen. If it's not on my calendar, it means it's not going to happen. And that's how I get the prioritization down. Julia says she's gotten used to relying on normal office distractions, and from working at home, you get more distractions. Oh, sure. I do miss people. I love people. As you know, I love people, and I love being around people. And what that means now is, well, first off, I have no dirty laundry in my house, like ever. Like if you walk in my house, I would make you change clothes right away. Partly I love doing laundry, but right now I get up every morning and between breaks, I'm doing laundry like a crazy person. So yes, I totally understand the distractions, but sometimes there can be healthy distractions. And then you set that watch, you say, okay, for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to read this article with full focus and not allow a pop-up or anything else to distract me. I'm going to make a phone call from 11 o'clock to 11:10 and tell them, hey, Tracy, I've got from 11 o'clock to 11:10, but I have to hang up at 11:10. People will respect your time. You've got to give yourself boundaries. You've got to give yourself the ability to map out your schedule, and you've got to take control of your own day and your own time. And especially right now, everybody is more aware of than ever, our time on the planet is a finite number of unknown minutes. So we have to figure out what's most important to us, what's most important for work to make sure that we continue to be able to work, what's most important for our clients, and what's most important for our families. And then we have to divide up that time. And for some people, they've been working, my medical professionals I get to work with, they've been working so hard, and their families feel like, wow, I never see you. You're always so busy and so tired. They feel like they're not doing enough at work, and they feel as though they just can't get ahead. Many people are feeling that way. It's valid, it's understandable, but that doesn't mean we get to curl up in a ball and feel sad. You can feel sad, but then get out of the ball and start taking action. And this is where the productivity sheets will help you make those priorities and make those clear to you. So again, that plan of the day sheet works great for people who get overwhelmed with all these priorities. This sorts it out for me because, again, for some days, I need more than one sheet. And some days I'll categorize the sheets by business things, home things, client things. And sometimes I've got 3 sheets going on at one time. That's okay. But what's great is once I cross things off, then it gets out of my head and I regain control. Again, action trumps fear. And yes, Natalie says competing priorities, you consult with multiple entities. Yep. So again, use your brain. Your brain is really smart, Natalie. Your brain is awesome. So tell your brain, okay, we just finished with Joe, Bob, and James, and now we're on to Sally and Sarah. Let's focus on them. And your brain goes, okay. And it switches over to that. Our brains are so amazing that when we tell it what to focus on, it does. And I love that. And then one last thing I wanted to say, because we're coming up on our 30-minute mark, is when you feel as though you've got a problem, and whether that problem is, I don't have enough hours in the day to get this done, strategize on the solutions. Okay, but what if I did this? I'm not saying get up an hour earlier. No, I want you to sleep. Right now, especially, we need to take care of our health, and we need to make sleep a priority now more than ever. But make sure that you are giving your brain the opportunity to brainstorm on solutions, great solutions that allow your brain, again, a good place to go, a positive place to go. If all you do is sit around and complain, and I'm not saying you do this, but you know people who do, they never focus on the solution. And right now, the news is contributing to this because it's all bad news. Oh, this is terrible, and it leads to a loss of control. And our brain goes, wait a second. So what's the problem? Okay, I'm in my house, and now I don't have time, but wait a second. I'm not commuting. I'm not able to go to all these places. I'm saving a bunch of money because I'm staying home. So what are the possible solutions to my problem? And then write down those possible solutions. And it's amazing what your brain is able to do. Oh, thanks, Lloyd. I appreciate it so much. And yes, I am enjoying great wine. And thanks to my awesome friends, Lloyd knows that I don't have a whole lot of vices. Sure, I do. I've got vices. Of course I do. And one of them is wine, and I love wine. And I've been able to work with some amazing wine clients, along with my medical clients and my insurance clients and my distributor clients, my manufacturing clients. I feel really grateful. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining me today. I am so excited that we got this time together. If you've got questions or if I can help you, it's mary@productiveleaders.com, as you know. And again, to get these resources, it's Kiwi Live. If you registered for this, you'll be getting this as a recording if you want. And again, see you next week, folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, thank y'all so much. Thank you. Yay. Oh, and Karen. Oh my goodness. And Mark. Oh my goodness. Thank you. And Natalie. Yay. Yay. Thank you. You guys are so awesome. And here's Kiwi Live, just in case you need it again, kiwilive.com, keyword dog, just in case. That's awesome. Thanks, Lori. I hope you're doing great. Thank you. Carolyn, you tuned in. You're so cool. I've got the dogs here. Go, Ola, my goodness. I'm so excited to see you. You've had a lot of changes up there in Wyoming, my friend. Send me an update with what's going on. Oh my goodness, thank you. Yeah, Wyoming. Oh, yeah. Lots of changes up there, my friend. Good gracious. Good gracious. So yeah, send me an email. I would love to hear from you. This is so great. I'm so honored that y'all showed up today. So have a great rest of the day. And oh, I love seeing the Bama. Bama is the wonder dog. He's the wonder dog. I don't know if you were here, Carolyn, at the very beginning when I showed everybody the office managers. See, there's one, and then where's the other one? Oops, I don't know, but that one just moved. She just realized that you're paying attention to her. So anyway, thanks. Y'all take